So, hello everyone. In this video, what we are going to do is we're going to create controls dynamically. So, we're going to work with the text control and how to create it dynamically. Now, what do we mean by dynamically? See, so far in all the previous videos, I used to write in input type equal to text and name equal to blah blah blah. Right? That's what I used to do. I used to fix in, I used to pre-design and define that this is going to be my text box, and these are going to be the controls that will be visible to the user. But what if this is not there? What if I want to create a text box dynamically? So, to do that, it's a very simple concept. So, first thing, I'm going to create a container, and obviously, there are so many possibilities. You can take an H1, a paragraph, a table, or whatever. I'm going to use the div tag. If you're familiar with it, div tag is a lightweight container. So, this would be my choice. Now, every element should be given an ID, right? So I'm going to give it an ID like main, right? So this main is going to be my container where I'm going to add in all my controls, whether it's a text box or a radio or checkbox or a drop down or a button, whatever you want to add in will go here. Not just that, you can add in any kind of element. For example, you can add headings and lists and paragraphs and images and hyperlinks and tables and whatnot. Again, you can insert a form, but nested forms is such a waste of efforts because ultimately only one form gets transmitted. Now, which one? Browser knows, right? So what we're going to do is, the first thing we're going to do is create those variables and start preparing those properties which we call as attributes. So the first thing we're going to do is create. Oh, okay, before we create, I will need a link to this div tag. Why do I need a link? Is because I am finally going to add in my uh, input tag that I would have created, the text tag, right, inside this. So I need a reference to it. So I'm going to use the get element by ID. And what is the name of the div tag? That's main. So that's the ID of the. Okay, so get element by ID is a document method which allows you to get any element which has an ID. So it need not be only a form control. It can be anything between body and slash body. The next thing that we would do here is, now I will add the text box. Now, how do we add text boxes? We use the input tag. So I'm going to create one more variable, and we will use the create element method. Now, in the create element method, you need to write the name of the element. What is the name of the element? By element, simply put, it is the tag name. So here I am interested to create an input tag, right? So B is going to refer to the input tag. B represents the input tag. Now, when you write in the HTML input and then you put in type equal to text, name equal to something, and so on, these are known as properties or attributes. So for B, I'm going to set the attribute, my first attribute. What is it going to be? So it is going to be a text type control, and I would need to give it a name because I might want to do some coding on it. So I'm going to give in a name to this. All right. I can go ahead and give size, max length, read only, and whatnot. But let us stick to these two properties for the input tag. Now I can just throw it into the div tag and show it to you. But then obviously when you just show a text box, it doesn't make sense. You have to write some caption with it. What are you expecting the user to enter? So let's say I want the user to enter the employee name. So maybe we can create one more. So what are we going to create one more? We are going to create one more element. And I want the name to stand out, the caption to stand out. So um, I can as well go ahead and put a span tag if I don't want any styling there. Now for this B, I'm going to add in the text inside. You can use the um, text content property if that is what you wish, or you can use the inner HTML. Text content is basically when you just want to put in some text. You don't want to give any styling, you can use the text content. But if yes, inside this B element, if you are interested to give more formatting, then you will need to use the inner HTML. So I'm going to use the text content. So C dot text content, and this is going to be okay, that's going to be an employee name. And finally, so I have two things ready. In B, I have a input element which will be of type text, and it will have a name txt1, and the C element which is the bold tag, and to this bold tag I have added the text employee name. Now finally B and C are ready. What do? I will add it to this element identified as A. So how do I add in? I can use append, I can use append child. Right now I'm going to use an append. The advantage of using append is you can add in all types of elements to the div tag. Append child basically would be used when you want to add in child nodes. So I'm going to use the append. So first thing I will need to put in is the employee name, which is there in C. And next I will need to put in that text box, which is there in B. So that completes the code. Let us see how it goes here. Okay, so when I click on it, you can actually see that I'm getting an employee name, which is in bold, right? And I'm getting a text box. So that's all for this video. See you in the next one.